Jimmy. Jimmy. Jim James, son!
Welcome back to part 3 of the $900 99 Lexus ES300. As you saw in the end of part 2, we put the whole car back together. It ran okay, and we ended up diagnosing a burnt valve, or multiple burnt valves, on cylinder number 6. For reference, this is cylinder number 6. Thank God, not in the back. So, what's going on here is I have the upper and lower intake plenum back off, the cooling system drained, and now we are working on removing the timing belt so that I can get this pulley off. Some of you had said, oh, you're gonna have to change that timing belt. No one's probably done it. Someone's most definitely been in here and changed this belt. Look at the quality. That's a good belt. It's got a minor leak from the cam seal, which we're already gonna have to change anyway, so that will remedy that. But yeah, this timing belt is in excellent condition, so that's good to see. At least some maintenance was done. This lower bracket for the motor mount will not come out until I remove the crankshaft pulley. And I'm going to have to put the car in time before I do that. That way when I take it out, it's not going to cause me some, combobbledy mess. I'm probably also going to have to take off the alternator, it looks like. I might not. I'm not sure on this one because this bracket just seems to unbolt. It's like a through bracket, so I think we're going to be okay on that. I am going to have to, I already took the motor mount out, but I am going to have to jack the motor up. So enough talking, let's do that. Okay, I have moved the car into timing, so this mark lines up with this. I marked the belt, even though it's basically worthless to mark the belt because the belt is going to change. You want to make sure that these marks line up. Same thing in the rear, you're not going to be able to see it, but there is a timing mark right there. That is in time. Now I have to go take off the crankshaft bolt and mark the lower timing mark. All right, we've removed the harmonic balancer and we're about to remove the crankshaft reluctor, which it looks like has a notch from someone cranking down a little too hard on it. As long as it's not going this way, we're fine, but I might change that. So there's that. Now we have access to our lower timing mark. I'm gonna see if I can zoom you in there. That little dot right there has to line up with the hump. See the hump? It's the angle I'm at, but it's lined up. So we are in time currently. The next thing I have to do is remove this timing. This is a hydraulic timing tensioner. I've ordered a new one, so once you take these two bolts out, this little thing will drop down and the timing belt will go slack. We can remove the timing belt. Now that the crank is off, I removed the serpentine belts. Those are all the timing stuff over there, including the mount bracket. I'm also beginning to remove this front intake manifold, or I should say exhaust manifold. That's an intake manifold. And all the bolts were finger tight. And while I was removing the oxygen sensor, the connector came up and caught me under the ridge of my fingernail and pulled it back. So that's my sacrifice for a good harvest right there. I did have to jack the car up, so we have the mount removed and the engine jacked up sideways. You can kind of see it's crooked. That way we can get to this timing bolt, because you can't get to this crank sprocket bolt because of the ABS pump being in the way. That's quite the design there. They could have just backed it up a few inches, but I guess I'm not an engineer, so I don't know. Probably a reason for that. So we're getting closer and closer to taking the head off. I have to go up underneath the car and take off the lower flange bolts that are down there. Right there, you can see one of them. And once I get that bolt off, or those two bolts off, I should be able to pull the manifold forward. I'm gonna start taking off all these little bracketries that are attached to the head here. So the head repair begins. We're about to take the head off along with the timing belt. I have everything set up here that we're gonna need. Tensioners, head bolt set, head gasket set, timing belt, seals, Toyota FIPG markers, all the bolts, the appropriate torque wrench for the job, and of course, our new cylinder head. New. So, let's get this show on the road. One real quick thing before we go ahead. On the 1MZ-FE, you have to lock these cams, these variable cams, in place with a service bolt. It's just a normal 10mm service bolt that goes through the two halves of the cams and locks them from spinning. You also have to put these under non-tension, which means that these two cam gears are no longer in spring tension. You can do that, as you can see here, by lining up these two dots. See those two dots? Those two dots allow the cams to be out of tension. so you can pick them up after you unbolt them from the head itself. This can be done simply by putting the car at top dead center, like it should be. So if you're in time here, then you're in time here. And that's all I have to say about that before we take this whole thing apart. Alrighty, timing belt off. The timing belt looks excellent. I don't see anything wrong with this timing belt. What's weird is there's also no markings on it. It has no brand name or numbers or anything on it. It's just blank. You can kind of see some barely markings on it. Made in USA. But I don't think this was any danger of snapping, so I'm not going to reuse it. But anyway, there's the cams out. Here's the cams right here. There's that service bolt. Funny enough, the bearing won't come off of the race without the service bolt, so that's kind of a good thing. All the bolts are out. No, I'm not going to pry on the fucking plastic thingy, don't worry. There should be some coolant though, as you can see already sort of seeping out. Yes, we have a catch pan down there. I'm not a savage. Alrighty, well, we have the head off. It is over with the other head chilling out over there. I have found something that is probably worst case scenario. I don't even know how this would happen, especially since the cylinder walls are in beautiful condition. Yeah, so let's check this out. Holy fucking schmoly. I don't think I've ever seen something like this. My guess is that at some point this thing snapped a timing belt, and yeah, there was some contact. There was some conversation between the pistons and the valves, or something was dropped down all three of the I just don't even, I mean, this one is the cylinder that's actually has no compression, or not no compression, but it's got a bad exhaust valve. Something's not right with it. Yeah. Look at that. And it's weird because there's like, other than the dirt that's on the side of the cylinder walls, these are smooth. Like there's like a little bit of scoring, but nothing that would really make me freak out about it. But this is just, I don't even know what to do with this. I don't think there's anything I can do with this. What I'm gonna have to do here, I guess we're gonna have to take the pistons out. I mean, I can't put this back together. Yeah, sorry, I'm just in shock. I guess let's get those pistons out. I gotta go take the oil pan off. So after taking the head off and seeing this absolute nightmare, because that's what this is, the reality is that I'm going to have to take the pistons out. I mean, I'm already here. Why not? Why not, right? Like at this point, who the hell cares? Why not? So I've taken the oil pan off, drained the oil that we just put in, by the way. And now I'm going to take off the upper oil pan. I retook off the exhaust system, so we're going to get up here and remove this upper oil pan, oil pickup, level sensor, wiring, harness, etc., etc. And then hopefully we can get to the pistons. Oh, the madness. The madness. The heart. I've buried the heart beneath the floorboards, and I can hear it tap, tap, tapping, or whatever Edgar Allan Poe said. So
They're here! Under the floorboard! Oh, please, make it stop!
I had to take out the alternator, the compressor brackets, a bunch of mounting hardware. You can see it all over there. Yeah, and that finally freed the lower oil pan from the engine. See that? There's our crankshaft. You should see the amount of parts that is in the trunk of this vehicle. So there's both cylinder heads. Look at this frickin' horse shit. Boy, I'm gonna have me a fun time. All of this for a $900 Lexus. The madness. You can see here that the it's all chowdered up. Like this head is just, look at that. See that? This head is F-U-C-K-E-D. Fucked. So, the next step, I need to crank the engine over. I marked timing on 2 different degrees. That way we have 2 points of measurement. And I'm going to take off the lower bearing caps, and we're going to pop some pistons out. And then we're going to try to get some pistons, because I priced these babies out, and they want $350 for a set of 3 pistons. So I might have to go to the junkyard and do this again, because I ain't putting these back in. What the fudge? All right, I've taken the bearing cap off of cylinder 1. I've even marked it which side is which. That way we don't mess around with anything. And I should just be able to pull this out. Yeah, look at this, man. Let's see if I can get you in here. Look at this. That is crazy. You have got to see this one. So check out cylinder number 2. Let's see. Look at that. This ring isn't even seated. There's nowhere for it to seat. Look at this. And you think that's bad enough. You're like, oh, I mean, this ring is just clearly toasted. Like, it is what it is, you know? Look at the bearing. Holy, I mean, I don't really have much of a fingernail, but even I can catch a fingernail on that. I'd buy that for $1.
I'd buy that for $1.
Dang. It even pinched off. You see this little mark here? That should be farther, like, backwards. Yeah, that should be, like, right here. And it's not. So, yeah, that's cylinder number 2. Let's take out the final tamale and see. See, this is the one. This is the piston where the misfire was. So this is the lack of compression cylinder. Let's find out. All right, cylinder 3 was our white whale. Look at that. I don't know if you can see this, but there is no... Like, look, I can just take the oil control ring straight the fuck out. A compression ring. Oh my God. Wow. I mean, this is... I've literally never seen this. I've worked on many, many, many Toyotas, Lexus, whatever have you, Scion. Never seen this. Oh my gosh. The abuse. Look at that. That's a piston. That was running. That was in an engine up until like a couple minutes ago, and it was running. My God. Yeah, no wonder there was no compression. The bearing on this one is a little bit better, but not by much. You can definitely catch a fingernail on that. So we're going to need a set of pistons and lower end bearings, and I'm going to do all the lower end bearings, unfortunately. That's all the pistons are gone, so now we can see straight through the engine. Ooh, let's send you down in there, shall we? Still don't understand how the cylinders aren't all fucked up. That I don't understand. I'm gonna go ahead and put away the tools because this is it for today. I believe it just started sprinkling, actually. All right, there's the completely mangulated old pistons. Here are the new pistons. This was $125 for 3 used pistons. What a world we live in. These are in very nice condition. They are not damaged, as you can see. They're a little gunky, but I'm already cleaning up the control rings and the compression rings and all that. I scraped a lot of the carbon off the top of the pistons. I'm gonna go a couple more passes. And the bearings on these are excellent. Look at that. Tiny, tiny little bit of wear, but like, as you can see from comparatively, not good and good. So there's still like brass material on that. So these are the pistons that are going back inside the engine. Oh look, there's already a piston in the engine. So we've got piston 3 in already. Piston 2 is here. I was just checking the surfaces like of the crank, whatever you want to call the journals. They're looking mighty fine. I'm getting oil dripped on my forehead, which I'm not exactly thrilled about. Not for my complexion anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here and put the lower end bearing cap on and then move over to 1. There's our replacement pistons back in their respective holes. They're significantly more round and complete than the previous pistons. I did a couple of rotations of the engine and they were running smooth as butter. So I torqued the bearing caps on the bottom back down. Yes, I pre-lubricated the bearings. And now I need to clean up this head gasket mating surface and also all the oil pan surfaces. So let's get to that. I'm over here trying to clean up this head mating surface, and we got little creatures over here. Yeah. I like how they come here for the pets. Look, that's why I call her Mouth, because her mouth is off center. Oh, Mouth, you're so sweet. Hi, Mouthy, Mouthy. I really don't want to pet you too much. My hands are kind of gross. Huh. Oh. I know, sweetie. You're a good girl. What are you doing? All right, let's get back to what I was doing. Now that the pistons are back in, I have cleaned the upper and lower oil pan mounting surfaces. See how nice and shiny they are, just like the head itself. And I need to use some of this stuff to mount the upper oil pan. This is the right stuff. I don't mean that it's right for this car. I mean, this is great. I've used this on everything and never had a problem with it. See that? Specifically for oil pans. This is the exact same as Toyota Foreman Place Gasket Maker. The exact same shit. Very good stuff. Well, I think that's about all we're gonna get done today. Yeah, we're running out of daylight. Damn daylight savings time. But I did manage to get the lower oil pan back on. By that I mean the upper oil pan. I cleaned and reinstalled the oil pickup tube and the oil level sensor, so those are back in now. There they are, all happily in there. Tomorrow I will put the lower oil pan back on with the gasket making material. And then I have to go order a new set of head gaskets, or rather a head gasket, because for some reason I have two right bank engines and this is the left bank of the engine. It really truly never ends with parts. It just doesn't end. But I did manage to clean off the mating surfaces. So pretty soon we're gonna button up the bottom end of the engine and then we can move on to the top end of the engine. When? I don't know.
2,000 years later.
So here is the cylinder head that I got for $95. I've cleaned up the mating surface. I'm not gonna take it to a machine shop and deck it or anything like that. This is gonna be a real redneck Jimmy repair. But I cleaned it. This was from a running driving vehicle, okay? The vehicle did not have head gasket problems. So from what I understand, this is a good head. Now, famous last words, I know, but we're gonna ignore all that, okay? Science be damned. I have cleaned the mating surface. It still needs a second or third go through. I have checked for leak down on all 16 of the valves. I even did a little bit of cleaning, as you can see, to degunk inside of the cylinder head. So I've cleaned out in there as well. We're probably gonna run this at least through one more cleaning before I even consider putting it in. But this appears to be a good head. Luckily me, again, 95 bucks. Can't really go wrong with 95 bucks for a head. The gaskets and such were about 115. So, you know, that's a lot better than changing an entire engine. And if I took this car to a shop and had them do a cylinder head and a valve job, it would have been thousands, plural, of dollars. So, this is the Jimmy version of replacing the front head. So let's get going. It is time. Now that we have the cylinder head tightened down, what we have to do is go back from the proper sequence, and you see I've made a little paint mark on each of the bolts. It has to be turned 90 degrees, so that mark has to be facing up on every single bolt. So we have to go back and retorque every bolt with that 90-degree pattern. The head is properly torqued back onto the engine. Both cams are in. The pulley, cam pulley, is back in and torqued down. The belt is in, and the service bolt has been removed. So we are all back together with the cams. Now I'm going to show you the alignment on all of this. So the new belt comes with alignment marks already pre-done on the belt that you have to line up. So as you can see here, the marks are lined up on the cam. We have the marks lined up on these two mesh halves of the cam, right there. All right. The cam mark back here is in alignment with the cam. See on the back mark, you can see that. And the final mark is on the bottom half of the belt. Right there. See the line on the belt, how it matches up to the timing lines that I've drawn? The upper line is the one we're paying attention to. It even lines up to the upper timing mark right there, that little hump on top. So we are fully within time. I can now go take the tensioner, put it back in, and tension the belt. Okay, so now we are in time here. I had to re-time the belt because when I put the tensioner on, it frickin' pulled the back cam a tooth off. But now we are in time there. It's kind of hard to see because of the angle, but it's actually in time. Let's see if I can show you from this angle. Yeah, there you go. So you're in time there. And we are in time here, as is evidenced by this mark on the belt and the hump here. It's kind of hard because of angles, but we're right on time, so we're all good to go. I'm gonna pull the grenade pin. There we go, grenade pin pulled. This looks like the nose of that guy from Smiling Friends.
I've never found anything else with this unique shape.
We've skipped quite a bit of ahead in time. I mean, probably about 2 hours, and the entire car is back together. I have added coolant, oil, everything. So yeah, the weather is turning nasty, as you can see, but that's not gonna stop us. Let's start this thing up and see what we got. I really like those pillarless doors. That's really like, I don't know, I love that. Okay. Cross some stuff. I did prime the fuel system. I turned the key back and forth. Come on. Oh, ho, ho, baby. Idling a little on the high side, but it's gonna do that for now. Wow. That sounds fantastic. I'm so pumped for this. Wow, that sounds good. Sounds really good. The idle is a little high, but yeah, so far so good. Listen to that, man. She idles nice. No more noise. Nothing, just happy as can be. Let's check on that idle. The idle is a hair high in park, but it may have to relearn itself. It's just under 1,000 RPM. Again, it may have to relearn itself. Let's see what it drops to in drive or reverse. Oh, okay, yeah. Man, no misfire. I can feel it. I can feel it. I feel like one of those pastors, you know, like those from those black churches, like, woo! The Lord has blessed me. Oh, the light is out for the drive. Dang. Anyway, I didn't notice that. Yeah, the butt dyno is feeling good. No misfires whatsoever. Idling right where she's supposed to. Oh, yes. When you put her back in park, she idles up a little, but yeah, there you go. She's going down to where she should be. So we're just relearning our idle here. It is not 1:11. I don't know what time it is, but I'll have to reset that real quick. And we're going to be letting this thing idle for about 45 minutes to absolutely thoroughly go through this thing and make sure there are no leaks, no this, no that, no nothing. So I'll catch you guys in a little bit. So we're just bleeding the air out of the system now. That's why I have these rags around here. You can rev the engine up a little. There's always going to be air in the system when you do a full-on, you know, basically rebuild of an engine. You're always going to get air pockets in the block. There's also a little, down there, there's also a little air bleeder. The alternator sounds like shit, which it always did, so I'm not worried about that. We've been idling for about 25 minutes now. Turn down that awful Christmas music. Yeah, we are idling beautifully, no lights on, temperature steady. Oh, I think we've got it. Yeah, baby. She wanted to come back to life, you know she did. She was 1 foot, probably actually 3 feet in the grave. So yeah, let's go put this new cap I got for it back on and let it bleed itself. Well, it runs well. It sounds good. I'm pretty happy with that. Doesn't leak a drop of anything. Look at this bone dry. Look at that. Other than what I've spilled, she's bone dry. Idles right where she's supposed to. No unusual noises besides that alternator, which, you know, should everything else go fine, I will change. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't really be much happier. The only thing that I am expecting at some point a check engine light for possibly this catalytic converter. I noticed that when I took this manifold out, I took a flashlight and checked down inside the cat, and it's hollow. Somebody hollowed it out. Or it hollowed itself out. I don't know. But there's no more cat there. The one in the rear is fine. Maybe that will be enough to not set a monitor. I don't know. I guess we're going to find out. I really don't want to have to change a cat. So, there's always ways, you know, of extending that oxygen sensor. Oh, I don't know, about ½ an inch out. We're not going to talk about that. But there's ways of making that light go away. Not to mention, this car doesn't need to pass emissions anymore. It's over 25 years old. That's just for me. But she runs. She sounds excellent. I did have to go get the appropriate. This cap that I had was the wrong one. This is a 1.1, and I needed a 1.0 genuine Nip and Denso cap. So yeah. Now I gotta put the wheel back on, and we've got some stuff to do. This car is fucking funny. It's a funny little motherfucker. It likes to put up quite a fight no matter what. No matter what I do to this car, it puts up a fucking fight. So, yeah, we're not gonna tolerate that kind of stuff. I'll just replace this and get a new lug nut. I have to do it on one of the rear wheels anyway. And possibly when I go to have the tires, I could just have the guys that are going to put a set of tires on this do it for me. But they probably want some absurd amount of money, like 150 bucks. Yes, I'm serious. If you ever take your car to Martin Tire, expect them to fuck you. Sorry, Martin Tire, it's not my problem. You guys, every time I take something there, you guys want an outrageous sum to fix some BS like this. Anyway, enough whining. Yeah, let's move on to other stuff that doesn't involve me busting things. All right, we are leaving the title place. They agreed to rebuild the vehicle, so now I have a rebuilt Texas title, and I have all the plates and all that, so we're good to go. So now we can head home. That was a surprisingly smooth, albeit lengthy transaction. Well, goodbye, BTC Lou. I hardly knew ye. But yeah, she passed her rebuild inspection. They issued me a set of plates. Kind of funny. Zai. Yeah, Zai. That's what I'm gonna name this car, Zai. And it even was registered for a year. Look at that. So yeah, all our work amounted to something. Now I have to mount a front license plate to this thing. Well, now that we've got the car running, driving, and road legal, we're going to start focusing on some interior and exterior faults that the vehicle has. Number one, it needs a set of tires, either 2 brand new front ones or 4 new tires altogether. We'll see how the pricing works on that. I have 2 lug nuts and 2 studs to replace because we currently have 2 donuts on the car. Each donut has a broken lug nut and stud. And in terms of physical things, there's really not much to do. There's little things like a couple of little chips here and there in the paint. And also this driver's side mirror is broken, so I'm gonna have to replace that. And also the interior needs quite a steam cleaning, just a cleanup in general. But that's all gonna be addressed in part 4. I gotta milk this series somehow to make my $12 a month. Not exactly in the millions of subscribers yet, so yeah. We will come back in part 4 where we, detail the interior and exterior of this vehicle. But thank you for watching so far. I appreciate it. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye. I was just thinking about it, and in one of the previous episodes where I was rebuilding the 1986 Camry, I had found a cassette tape, and I made the comment, "This will never be played again." But it's a George Strait cassette, and I feel like it should be played at least one more time. So I went ahead and got the cassette out, and I'm going to see if it actually even plays in this thing. So yeah. Oops, I'm putting it backward. That's how much I know about a cassette tape. Come on. Do something. Wow. Ooh, it's playing All My Exes Live in Texas, huh? Yep, that's the first track. That's a great song. Huh, well, what do you know? It would play. Isn't that something else? Hey, we even got the cassette tape back. How about that for an outro, huh?